Darwin Clarke, welcome back to the platform, man. As usual, always a pleasure to have you on. Always very insightful, lots of information, sometimes drama, but I love when you're on because you're very knowledgeable and very entertaining. So, welcome back, man. What you got for me this evening?
Before I address the drama, great to be on, and congrats on your award, man. That was awesome to see. So now I'm on live with an award-winning journalist, man. I took the time to research. I don't remember the guy's name because I'm getting old, but that guy was a tremendous human being. Yeah, I should know his name. Something Brown, I think. Huh?
Donald Moore.
Donald Moore. Why did I go Brown? Oh, I should have known more. Yeah, my grandma's a Moore. I should know that. Donald Moore. But a tremendous individual. Yeah. I went and read his little bio, and I'm like, oh my God, this guy makes me feel I don't do anything, like I haven't done enough in my life. But congrats, man. Congrats on your achievement.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. And don't ever say you haven't done anything yet because I'm looking at all your past performance and I'm seeing your name pop up around a lot of people and if you start to peel back, you'll realize that you're doing some tremendous things yourself too as well. So
I'm doing a
you got to
little.
follow that.
I think maybe a little. I wouldn't go that far. That guy was amazing. I mean, amazing. How's the weather in Canada?
So what you been up to, man?
Just working
The
church.
weather,
Working church.
you know, the weather here is bleak. Um, we're not scorching.
Okay.
We just have the weather most people like. Around 20. Nighttime it goes down to about 14, 15 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
So, that's fine. And then we get the wildfires,
Oh yeah.
wildfires from down west.
Yeah.
You
Over
know,
in Stephen territory.
effects here. Believe it or not. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I
And what about you? Are they coming your way too?
no. So normally we will get like if it's more west, we'll get some of the smoke and stuff like that from Vancouver or Whistler area. We'll get some of the smoke, but Stephen is maybe 2 hours east of me, so haven't had any of his wildfire smoke this year. Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Funny enough, I saw on a little clip on the news this afternoon, and they were kind of like evacuating people from Squamish. That's in BC. So there's some wildfires down there
Oh,
too. So it's
we
it's pretty
yeah, we
crazy.
we should get smoke from them, but we haven't had any. But our weather was a little
Mm.
wild. We had 80 something Sunday, Monday, and then we dropped back to about 60 the last couple of days. So been a little crazy, but we always welcome the warmer weather, just for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Is this the worst time you've seen these wildfires or what?
Oh
Because I
no,
mean, it seems like every year now you get a
oh
bunch.
yeah. I've seen where like our state is heavily affected by the smoke, and sometimes on the eastern side of the state, where it normally stays a lot drier over there for some reason. It's more deserty, You'll think you could be in Arizona, but on the west side of the
Right.
Cascade Mountains, we're all green and lush. But you go over the pass, over to the east side, yeah, there's pine trees, a lot of open land, and a lot of fires out there also.
You know, those wildfires are crazy. I remember last year it was down in LA when that whole place burnt down.
Oh
So,
yeah.
you know, yes.
Uh, uh,
Speaking of LA, man, you seen what's happening with the protesting down there?
Man, as your president, bro. Look, there. So honestly, I've been watching that, and where do I start? This is a guy that wants to be a dictator, First of all, America has laws and rules. He's a president of laws, apparently. But governors run each state. Each state have a governor, an attorney general, mayor, all the layers that you need to run an efficient state. If they deem that they need help, they'll reach out to the federal government and say, "Hey, I need help with this, a natural disaster, whatever." And then the federal government jumps in and help that state, almost like a dad or something like that. But the federal government does not dictate to the governor what he can or cannot do. If you need, in this case, Marines underground, you need troops, any kind. You don't do that as the federal government.
Hmm.
So anyway, I know like today they're having a lawsuit to get those people out. Yeah, it's a mess there, total mess. Then on top of all this going on, the Americans have a right to protest, as in the Constitution, a right to gather, a right to whatever, all the rights. So you can't deny them their rights. Oh, you shouldn't. I can't say you can't. You shouldn't. And then you have this president that think that, okay, you're not doing what I like or what I don't like, so I'm going to send troops. Boom, here are the troops. I can tell you this. When troops hit the ground, when people are protesting peacefully, and 90% of the people are peaceful, you're going to have some agitators, you're going to have some looters. People are just taking advantage of the situation. But at any rate, I'll skip over all of that because I'm sure everybody's following. But today they arrested a U.S. senator. So he was in a
A U.S.
federal
senator.
building. His name is Alex Padilla. He's like the senior senator from California, right? So he was in the same building doing some other business. He heard that the DHS secretary was giving a press conference, so he went over there. He's walking towards her to try to ask a question. Gets stopped by the FBI and some other heads there. Got forced out the room, got handcuffed. And in all this, he's telling them, "Hey, I am Alex Padilla, a U.S. senator." And I'm thinking, if they treat him like that, Derek, he's on the ground getting handcuffed because he wasn't resisting, What would
Right.
it do with a normal U.S. citizen? I mean, those guys have a layer of protection, and they breathe a different air. And I mean, to treat him like a second-class citizen, I was like, oh my god. But that shit, that made me cry today to see that America is coming to that. And I'm thinking, God, I can't believe I'm seeing this, in my
It
lifetime.
must be pretty scary. Just to think about, just little things like that, and when people got enough money, you think they got power, but then things like that happen, and then for a normal citizen, could easily, be swiped away. I think that's part of the reason why they're protesting. Where people just can't. They're saying that I shouldn't just grab people off the street or whatever
Correct.
and take them away or
Yeah.
something.
So what they're doing, they're going to workplaces, off the street, anywhere they can see someone that look a little Hispanic, and they're just grabbing them. I mean, just grabbing them. Um, I think the other day, Air Marshal got grabbed. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no strategy. There's nothing. And it's scary, even as an American or a tourist coming here, and you look a certain way. If you get grabbed, there's no like due process, And that's one of your rights as an American. If you get
Hmm.
arrested, you're entitled to a speedy trial. You have to have due process. You have to have a lawyer. All those things within a certain time limit. But with this administration, all that stuff is out the window. And there's laws to
Oh,
protect that. Like, you just cannot arrest an American citizen and have him sitting somewhere for forever. But if you are grabbing people, in a normal course of a day, maybe on the way to work, on the way home, the family don't know they got arrested, nobody knows, so they can be sitting somewhere doing whatever forever, and it is bad. It is really, really bad, and I'm not saying that lightly. So they're protesting. I guess
mm.
they burned like 5 cars, looted a couple places, but other people will make you think LA is on fire. You can't go anywhere in LA, and there's millions of people just carrying on with their life as normal. But it is
Yeah,
horrible.
we've had, I mean, like a couple of years or a few years back, we had a similar situation in Ottawa where, the truckers protesting, and stuff like that. It had made a lot of people very inconvenient, people who worked and live in Ottawa, but, it wasn't to the same extent of what you guys got over there in LA. I mean, ours is a little bit different. You got protesters with bouncy castles and all kinds of stuff. That's what they're doing in Ottawa. You guys now, God knows, I don't know. You guys are tossing e-bikes on top of on top of cruisers,
And that would be a few.
all different kind of
There'll
stuff.
be a few bad people in the crowd, right? And it always happens. You'll have huge number just peaceful protesters saying, "Hey, we don't like what's going on. We don't like this," and that's their right to do it. But then you have the agitators who they seize the moment. They say, "Okay, I could be an asshole here, so let me do this. Let me break this storefront window. Let me loot." That happens all the time. It is not. I don't know how to weed those bad people out. But sending in the Marines,
Right.
sending the National Guard is not a way, because then the real standoff comes when that happens. I mean, this weekend there's gonna be protests all across America against, they call it no king protest, which we were saying literally we don't want a king. You know what I mean? We want a democracy where I can ask a question and hopefully I get an answer, and if you spin it, at least I get a response. No, you can't do that. You can't ask an ICE member where you're taking this person. What are you gonna do? What's the process? Can they have bail? There's none of that. They're almost like a Gestapo that's just grabbing people and running with them. And that's un-American. That's like shit you're here in Russia. That's not American at all. And I don't see that. Well, today apparently the idiot that's in charge tweeted that he said, "Okay, farmers, I understand that I'm going to grab some of your people, and the hoteliers are complaining. I'm going to grab some of their workers." So it seems like he's understanding that there should be a process. Because like in my state, unemployment is 4%, which is a good number for the U.S. And it's telling you that everyone that wants a job is out there working. So if you grab people that have a job, whether they're legal or illegal, you're going to leave a void. Who's going to do that job tomorrow? And hopefully he's seeing that. I mean, I don't have the answers, but I know what he's doing is so far from being American. It's scary. It's really, really scary.
I want to ask you on that because I know in your business, you guys have a bunch of people that probably comes from across the border and so forth. Has it affected the way how you guys do business over there too?
I haven't seen it directly, but it's going to at some point, because honestly, Dart, like, I've been in this space for almost 30 years, and I've seen a change over that space in time, where plumbers, electricians, drywallers, framers are now heavily Hispanic. I'm not saying they're all illegal, but I would guess that maybe 30% of them are illegal. So just imagine you if you grab all those illegals, that whole market is going to be crippled. I mean, it's going to devastate the building industry in this state. And then we go further down to landscapers, restaurant workers. What else do the Hispanics do? Even the Uber Eats. I mean, every corner, banking. And I'm not saying every facet has the percentage of illegals. You know, obviously construction and those what you call a lower job would have more illegals, but it would devastate this state.
Hmm. Well, I don't know what I just did,
I
but I
think I
think
lost
I
you,
messed
man.
up no,
Well,
can you hear me?
I can
Because
hear you well. I'll host you.
yeah, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, dude.
You're all blank. Yeah, your
I just
screen is
messed it
blank.
up.
Your screen is blank right now, but I can hear you.
Yeah,
But
I'll set it up. I just I'm a very curious person, so I saw something I wanted to see what it was. But you
meanwhile,
can keep going ahead.
meanwhile, back on the ranch, I'll tell the audience what's going on with the horses. Um, Vividly, jocular, intricately, and Basilica d'Or. Here you are. There you are. They're all tested. They're all tested in full. So I know some of those fans of those horses will be excited to hear that. Vividly's in full to Mohawk. Jocular's in full to Eagles Peak. Intricately is in full to Ashdan. And Basilica d'Or is in full to Corsi.
Oh, nice.
Yes. I have two yearlings there by Corsi. Tremendous looking horses. Beautiful. I'm going to have to send you some pictures. You could probably post them, or next time I come on, you can share them with the audience, but they're beautiful. On the farm, there's a Mohawk colt down there. He's by far the best looking foal I've ever seen. I'm not promoting the stallion, it's probably from the mirror. But the horse looks so good, the baby, that we went right back to that stallion. Yep, so, yeah, the horses are
That's good
good.
news.
Pardon?
That's good news. That's good
Yeah, it's
news.
very, very good news. Then, Attaboy Cookie just finished third a week or two ago at Assiniboia Downs. He's going to run back. I think he's running next week. Before he came on the show, I was talking to Steven, and I think he's going to enter him tomorrow for a race next week. But he ran well. Was off for almost 2 years. He had a little something going on behind. Um, I know the British people, or we call it lead-in faults, where
Hmm.
if you're on your left leg as your lead leg up front, your back left leg should be your follow leg, so you're leading on those two leads on that side. But what would happen to him, he would switch. So you have leading with the left front, but on the back, he's leading with the right hind leg. So North Americans call it cross firing.
I see.
But at any rate, that was going on with him. So we gave him a year off. And when we first put him back on the saddle, he was doing it a little bit, but I don't think he's doing it now. And hopefully that's gone. That's a thing of the past, I don't know. I know in young horses, if they're weak, they'll do that. And some people would say, as they want the horses will refuse to trot, or I shouldn't say refuse, but they'll hack instead of trotting, and have this leading faults behind. So I know it's a weakness in some young horses or island ponies. They're not fed grain and stuff like that. But I don't know what his reason was. Maybe he was out of alignment. I don't know. I'm not a vet, but seems to be perfect now. So hopefully he'll win a nice allowance race next week or something. And then what else is going
Wow,
on?
allowance race too.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
Must be
not
pretty
like,
high on him.
but it's not like an allowance at Woodbine, you know. So keep the
I know, but
jurisdiction in
still,
mind.
allowance race down there is still a big race because you know.
Yeah, it's reasonable. I would say reasonable. He's not claiming so. But I dropped him in a couple years ago. I just dropped him in. Why did I drop him in? I think he came back after sore shins, and it was the last race of the year. And I figured if somebody wanted to take him, let him take him. And we just dropped him in, and luckily nobody took him. But yeah, the horses are good, better than me.
All right, well, you still got him.
Yeah, we still have him.
Actually watched him run last. It was it earlier this week, right, or last week?
Last
I actually
week, I
watched
think
him
last
run,
week,
and
yeah,
he looked
last
pretty
week.
good.
Yeah.
Closed pretty good.
He comes from way out of it, man.
Yeah, closed really well.
Yeah, he sits there down in the back, messing around, and then he comes flying. But I'm hoping to get some more distance. That race, I think, was 5.5. So I'm hoping to get a 6 furlong race or a mile. That way he can go do his thing, you know. But
Well, if he's fit enough.
yeah, he should be fit enough. I mean, just went 5.5 furlongs, so should be fit enough. But yeah, man,
All right, cool.
I think all the horses are set to go. I think somehow, I don't know if it's because of me, but the Beijing handicappers are handicapping races now. I looked at a couple races and it looked like it's not as predictable as in the past. So maybe they're handicapping their horses.
Wow. So someone actually heard you. Your words didn't land
I,
on deaf
I'm
ears.
assuming. I'm assuming. I don't want to take credit for it. Maybe someone more convincing than me, you know, persuade them to actually do the job. So I don't know, but I would hate to think it's me. But seems like they're doing something different. We'll see. We still need to do like a show during the races, man. I think that'd be awesome if you have time.
Listen, I mean, that's gonna happen. Is just really realistically is gonna
It
be on
depended on
you.
me.
You're the one who I need you.
did, did I tell you how busy I am?
I've
Oh,
heard, I've heard. I've heard, man. I'm getting busy myself too, so I'm sneaking every now and then. I told you about the scheduling situation, I'm scheduling all kinds of stuff, just to
right.
balance time, balance home and work and play. So just trying to
Yeah, it's
make
a
things
tough
happen,
balance. I
you
mean,
know.
I do the same work and home, and then keeping up just for horses. Derek, I did not watch the Kentucky Derby live. Did not watch the Preakness live. Did not watch the Belmont live. And I have FanDuel
I was gonna
TV.
ask you about that.
Yeah, I have FanDuel TV in my house on my TV. I have RTN on my phone on my computer, but I just have been so busy. And then the last couple of weeks I've started golfing again. So that is gonna be 4 hours a weekend just lost, going chasing a ball somewhere. But I need the exercise. Excuse me, I need the exercise. So I'm gonna start golfing again. At 4 hours of walking instead of eating would be good for this guy.
Hey, some form of exercise is always
Yeah.
good. You figure it out, do it however you want to, but
Oh yeah.
do some. It helps.
Well, I enjoy
I
doing it.
was at Woodbine the other day walking. I was really out of shape, man. Just a little bit of walk, and
You're back
I
there.
think it's between that and, well, I went there. I went there I think it's between that and the allergies and the all the pollen and all that
Right.
stuff is affecting me. So,
Get you busy.
anyways,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Okay. Yeah. I.
What else? What else you got for me, man? What
What
else
else
is
is
new?
going on? I think that's it, man.
I got something for you
All right.
because
What you got for me?
we talked about your. I was gonna ask you about your horses, and you kind of updated everyone on
Hmm.
your horses. The horses are in full, so that's promising. So that's good. That's the future. You guys still working on a horse? Get ready for
Yeah.
next year. I know there's quite a few months away, but
Well, we have the two. We have the two yearlings, and then we have two babies behind that. So two at foot, and then four pregnant. So we're gonna have a conduit here shortly for local horses, and we're still looking for a horse at Saratoga this year. And that's it, man. I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, the guy's out the game," but I can't even say I'm reloading. I am acquiring ammunition. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna be a heavy stream.
yeah,
It's
well,
not.
that's part of the game. I'm learning. Sometimes you gotta, kind of toss them out and refresh.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we had the nice mares there, and the intent was to breed these nice mares when they're finished racing. So we're doing that right now, and it's patience, and whoever wants to buy a horse, they can buy it. That's their freedoms. I mean, I'm trying to have a solid two-prong attack, and to acquire an imported horse is easier than breeding, the Creoles there. So that takes time. It takes time to get going, but
Yeah.
it's just planning, But we'll get there. We'll definitely get there. And you were here to crying from Canada. They'll be crying. I wish I was high tech enough to shoot those up, but I'm not that high tech. I might do like blank the whole screen out. But the the horses are looking good. They're looking really good. Yeah, I'm not that high tech to do it
Yeah,
in
good to
real
hear,
time,
man.
but
Good to hear.
they're awesome. They're awesome. And,
Nice, nice, very
the
nice.
riders are all right. I think one of the riders right now. When I say the riders, I'm talking about Rock. He's
But Rocco is doing his thing. He's on a little bit of
yeah, he's
break right
on a
now. Having some
sabbatical.
family
Yeah,
time.
he's gonna check out the graduation with the kids. I spoke to him yesterday and I spoke to him today. He
Yeah.
told me he was on with you yesterday or the day before.
Yes,
I,
I think it was last
yeah, I
night,
think so.
yesterday.
So yeah, good for him though. Take a
Yeah.
little mid race break and go see the kid graduate. And that kid is a wonderful story. I mean, yeah, he's congrats to
Mm,
Rock, man. He put in some work there because he had his issues.
that's good, man. I like hearing that. Speaking with them and just hear the kid seem to be following exactly
Oh
what his
yeah.
dad is doing. He understands. It seems like he's good with the numbers. It's a beautiful story. And Rocco just lets him do his thing, and hopefully, something happens down the line. I'm pretty sure something will.
Well,
You know what I mean?
if you
I'm
put the
pretty
time
sure.
in, and he started young, so.
When I was saying that a long time ago, the teenagers would say, "Don't give these kind of toys because they'll mess them up."
Oh yeah. Look, I mean, honestly, I I work on a computer 8 to 10 hours a day, but I'm not high tech at all, man. I am low tech. I have to ask my friends. I don't want to show you how inept I am, but like a screenshot about 6 to 8 months ago, I think Rock told me how to do a screenshot, and then another friend of mine had to say, hey, this is how you do it, because I kept turning my phone off at a screenshot. And then I was in the bank recently, and I was talking to the lady, and she said, you just send yourself messages, to remind you of this and that and whatever. And she's like, just do it like this, boom, boom. I'm like, okay, I'll start doing that. But I mean, I use my Google Calendar if that makes me feel high tech, but I'm not high tech at all. No, I'm not.
That's fine. People been surviving and doing stuff for years for all the technology. Technology helps because it just helps, but people have their own ways of doing things. They
I
just
mean,
got their own
I
ways
can
of doing
copy and
things.
paste and see the app or the format that I use to do estimating. I know it inside out, and that's all I need to know. I mean, I know how to get stuff, how to share, how to whatever. You know, get my prints, download them, load them, all that I know. But when I leave work, I leave the computer there, and I normal citizen again. I don't mess with anything to do with a computer after that, man.
I like how you put
My
it,
personal
normal
computer,
citizen.
yeah, it's just horses on my personal computer, and I would text, my friends, and that's about it. And then on the WhatsApp, it's easy to share videos or whatever, but if I had to edit a video and do all that, no, I'm lost, man. Yeah.
Well, let,
Excuse me.
let me give you a story. So I was working with an older man one time, and we had some couple of younger people amongst us, a girl and a guy, and another girl. And anyways, the point is that they'll sit at their desk and take selfies and send it to their friends and so forth. And every now and then they would poke at him and say, "Look, you want to take a selfie with me?" And he would run away if it was a plague, right? And
Right.
he's like, do you know I've never taken a selfie? And he, it's almost like if a selfie was like a pill or something really bad or whatever. But
But
it's
that's
crazy.
kind of
Some
my,
people
my
just don't get into that.
that's kind of my brag on tattoos. I've never had one, and I tell people that all the time. They're like shocked to hear that I've never had a tattoo, but I can't even say a plan because I might change my mind. So when I retire, I'm going to do an entire sleeve, from shoulder all the way down. That's my retirement gift.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Derek's like, don't do it.
Don't do it. I
But
had
you see, one
several
time,
tattoos.
uh huh.
Several tattoos, but back then those were the tattoos from the Joe chewing gum. That's it. I ain't had no real tattoos.
Oh yeah, just yeah. I got a couple water tattoos. I went to Vegas one time, and Vegas has this wrap that you put on. I don't know if they still have it, but then they did, and it looks like a real tattoo when you peel it off. But
Mm.
4 days of showering, it'll come off. But and it used to sell it in the street, so everybody could be tattooed up, however, whatever. But yeah, I think I'll do that. I don't know. That's why
No,
I'm saying I'm not saying it's a promise,
I ain't doing it, man.
but
I
I've
ain't
never had
doing
a
it.
tattoo. Yeah.
I remember
I
when I was in my
I
single phase. In my single phase, I was like going through that. You going through that. I don't know if you probably haven't been single in about 100 years, right? But I was
yes,
going.
yes I have it.
I was going through a phase, and I was almost there to do a tattoo, and this chick at the time
Wow.
she said don't do it. She said don't do it, and I was like, I'm not doing it.
I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. It's like I'm there with you. I'm not doing it. Yeah, I don't know if I'll do it. I might chicken out. Speaking of chicken, I don't know if you heard this, but Trump's new name is Taco. Did you hear that?
Taco.
Yeah,
Why? I don't know.
and it
I heard
stands
that.
for Trump always chickens out. Trump always chickens out.
Why? What
It's an
sparked that?
acronym because he always chickens out. Like he says, okay, I'm gonna put 25% tariffs on Canada. Okay, next year or two, well, he does. He chickens out. If Putin doesn't stop this war, it's gonna be this. The war's not stopped. He just chickens out. He always does, man. It's like the perfect name for him. So he doesn't like the taco name, but everybody calls him Taco. Trump always chickens out because he does. He absolutely does. Yeah.
Well, you see, I'm keeping my
But
comments kind of. I'm just letting you go ahead because at some point I'm trying to like cross over. You can see Rock and you can see the guys over there. So I don't want no distractions.
you know, you don't want to be like, okay, this guy. Oh, I've seen your show. Oh, turn around. But hey, tourism from Canada is down 18%, Derek. 18%.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard.
And
Yeah,
you
I've
guys used to
heard.
come over and spend all your money, and now you're not coming, and you're not buying American products. I mean, it's a real mess. But I don't blame them because you don't have that security of America where shit can happen, but if it happened, there's a way out. Now it's like, I don't know if there's a way out. I mean, I can roll out, get pulled over in my car by ICE, get arrested by ICE, and never be seen or heard from after that.
Yeah, it's
Because
pretty
they're
bad.
acting like there's some special police that they can do whatever, and doesn't have to be any consequences on their part. They can do whatever, they're like free range, just go pick people up, whoever they are.
So I want to
That's
ask
not
you.
cool.
So with a stroke of a pen, things just change just like that in the U.S. It's just a stroke of the pen, and things can just completely shift.
Oh yeah, just an order. And the thing is, like, our military, they pledge allegiance to the Constitution, not to the government, right? The Constitution. So when you, as a commander in chief, and you're in charge of the military, you send them out to fight wars or whatever, but they're never supposed to have armed military against the citizens of America, unless, of course, there's anarchy or we're destroying the country or we're whatever. So there's things where the military can come out. But the last thing we want is a military country, a militarized country, or a government that uses the military as their special police, You
Right,
can't do
right.
that. I mean, there are soldiers right now, like, literally coming out and saying, what happens if we disobey our orders? Can we disobey this order? Because, like I said, they're pledges to the Constitution, not to any president, Democrat,
Right.
Republican, or Independent. It is the Constitution.
Mm.
But we'll see. I mean, it is unprecedented things that are happening right now. And if the other side was doing it, Derek, oh my God, you would hear it. But the other side is more responsive to these things too. Trump is like, I don't care, whatever, you know.
Dude,
But if it was a
I
Democratic,
I remember a few years back, and I think this is when your president was on his way out, or just around the
oh, anyways, oh, by the way,
George Floyd
you know,
situation.
yeah.
And the thing was is that they had militias and all that stuff happening, and that was
Oh
crazy.
yeah. There
Hey,
was militias trying to overthrow a governor. January 6th was like the worst thing happened ever in America since I've been here. And now we got the LA BS. And I was here Bush twice, Obama twice, Biden, and now idiot Trump twice.
hmm.
Oh, I forget Clinton. Clinton. Yeah, so that's what? About 5 presidents I've seen? Maybe 6? And I was like, come on. This guy's by far the worst, will always be the worst. He doesn't know anything about the Constitution, how to run the country, what not to say or do. He's just a total idiot. Just a total idiot. And this guy said he's going to end the war in Ukraine in 2 weeks. If he ever become president in 2 weeks, I'll end that war. He said he's going to repeal and replace Obamacare in 1 day. He didn't do it in the first 4 years, and now he's what, 70 days in? No, 100 something days. And all he's done in 100 something days is put U.S. troops on the ground, on U.S. soil, to keep U.S. citizens in order. That is, I don't know. Sorry, it doesn't happen. All
Is
right,
that
brother,
your call?
I gotta into. Yes. So let's do the Saturday thing. Let's talk when I get off, and we'll do the Saturday, okay?
Saturday? Racing is this Saturday?
It's on Saturday, yeah. Yep.
All right, my man. You do your thing.
Yes,
We'll catch
this
up
Saturday.
another time. All right, we'll catch up
Good
later.
night, award. All right, award-winning journalist. You have a good night.
You too, my brother.
All right, brother.
All right. Mr. Darwin Clarke at his best. Very well. That's been an hour already, and you know that's how it goes. So I wanted to ask him, but time didn't allow, and he got that call. No call. That call means he got to go, and if he got to go, that means that's the end of the show. So I'm not gonna sit here and talk to myself. I'll do that. I'll save that for another time, and I got more juicy stuff to talk about. But I don't have a whole lot of juicy stuff to talk about right now. So on that note, I'm gonna bounce out of here and until the next live and next person that I speak with. All right. So thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. If you tune in, please share the videos, share the channel. Tell a friend and tell them friends to tell them friends, and let's grow this thing a little bit bigger, man. I appreciate every one of you for watching, and hopefully that you can tune in again. And by the way, if you want to join me, just hit me up, send me a note, and let's talk, man. I don't have no restrictions for if for who you are or whatever. Just if you feel like talking, if you got something burning on your chest and it's not spices, you want to talk about it, is a topic or something, hit me up and let's do this seriously. All right. You want to talk horses? You want to talk handicapping, or you just want to talk about the industry, changes, whatever? You a trainer? You a jockey? You a owner? Whatever you are, let's talk, man. Let's grow and blow this thing up. Get bigger. All right. Um, I wanted to talk about something really, but I don't want to talk about it by myself. So I'll wait until Mr. Clarke comes back, maybe on Saturday. I think there's racing in Barbados, and he wants to talk. All right.